The story begins in the deep frost of a Russian December, as citizens prepared for the long, festive stretch of New Year's holidays, a time of family gatherings, heartfelt toasts, and exchanged well wishes. A different kind of chill descended upon the digital landscape. Beginning around December 23rd, a severe and pervasive slowdown began to cripple WhatsApp, the Meta-owned messaging application used by over 100 million people in Russia. For a population that has grown reliant on the platform for everything from mundane daily chats to critical family connections, especially amidst the strains of geopolitical conflict, the disruption felt like a vital artery being constricted. Reports from users flooded social media and alternative platforms. Messages failed to send. Images stalled in perpetual upload. Voice notes dissolved into error messages, and video calls became impossible. The Internet Protection Society, IPO, a Russian digital rights NGO, quantified the crisis. Its executive director, Mikhail Klimarev, presented data showing that the speed and reliability of WhatsApp had degraded by approximately 70%. This was not a typical technical glitch. It was a throttling of monumental scale. The official response, through statements from Roskomnadzor, pointed to technical failures on Meta's side. However, the messaging app's spokesperson offered a starkly different narrative, framing the event not as an accident, but as a deliberate act of policy. They accused the Russian government of seeking to deprive over 100 million people of their fundamental right to private, end-to-end encrypted communication, choosing the most inopportune moment, the heart of the holiday season, to do so. This moment represents far more than a temporary service outage. It is a critical flashpoint in a long-running campaign, a decisive move in Russia's quest for digital sovereignty. To understand its full implications, we must journey through the history of internet control in Russia, dissect the technical mechanics of the crackdown, explore the geopolitical and domestic motivations behind it, and project the profound consequences for Russian society and the global internet order. The story of WhatsApp's disruption cannot be told in isolation. It is the latest chapter in a 2-decade-long project to bring the once open Russian internet segment, known as Runet, under state control. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, the internet in Russia experienced a wild, unregulated growth period. It was a space for entrepreneurial innovation, independent journalism, and vibrant social and political discourse. Platforms like LiveJournal became hubs for opposition voices. The state, preoccupied with economic and political consolidation, paid limited attention to this nascent digital sphere. The real turning point began in the early 2010s, coinciding with the mass protests following the 2011-2012 elections. The state recognized the Internet's power as a tool for mobilization and threat to centralized narratives. The legislative and technological framework for control was systematically erected. Key milestones included the Bloggers Law of 2014, which required popular bloggers to register with the state, the Data Localization Law of 2015, mandating that the personal data of Russian citizens be stored on servers within Russia, and the sweeping Eurovia Law of 2016, which required telecom operators and internet companies to store all communications metadata and provide decryption keys to security services, a direct assault on end-to-end encryption. The foundational shift came with the creation of the Sovereign Internet Law in 2019. This provided the legal bedrock for the current crackdown. It aimed to create a national backup of the Internet's domain name system, allowed Roskomnadzor to centrally control Internet traffic, and mandated the installation of technical means of countering threats, deep packet inspection equipment, on all network providers. The goal was to enable Runet to function autonomously if disconnected from the global web. The full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 acted as a catalyst, transforming gradual control into a rapid lockdown. Facebook and Instagram were banned as extremist organizations. Twitter was throttled and later blocked. LinkedIn, which had refused data localization, was banned years prior. Western news sites were almost entirely walled off. Against this backdrop, WhatsApp's survival was notable. It was seen as a utility, a critical channel for personal communication spared for its sheer indispensability. The December 2023 throttling signaled that this period of tolerated exception was over. The disruption of WhatsApp is a masterclass in modern digital censorship, moving beyond simple binary blocking to more sophisticated, deniable methods. The primary weapon deployed in this instance is bandwidth throttling and traffic shaping. Instead of cutting access entirely, Roskomnadzor, using the deep packet inspection infrastructure mandated by the sovereign internet law, identifies traffic flowing to and from WhatsApp servers. It then artificially limits the bandwidth available for this traffic. A 70% slowdown means data packets are delayed or dropped, rendering real-time communication unusable while allowing the service to technically remain accessible. This creates a fog of blame. Users experience failure, but the state can point to network congestion or Meta's technical failures. Deep packet inspection is the enabling technology. It allows Russian internet service providers, under Roskomnadzor's direction, to look inside data packets as they travel across the network. While they cannot break WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption to read message content, they can perfectly identify its fingerprint, the unique way the app's data is structured. This allows for precise targeting of its traffic for throttling or, in other cases, complete blocking. The more traditional method involves ordering providers to stop resolving WhatsApp as domain names to their corresponding IP addresses or to null route the IP addresses themselves. This results in a clear, "this site can't be reached" error. The shift to throttling suggests a tactical calculation that an outright block of such an essential service might provoke too much public backlash. The physical tools for this are the technical means of countering threats, the mysterious black boxes installed at network choke points. They are believed to be supercharged deep packet inspection systems, capable of automated real-time filtering, throttling, and rerouting of traffic on a national scale. In response to previous blocks, millions of Russians turned to virtual private networks to tunnel past restrictions. Roskomnadzor has responded with a dedicated campaign to block VPN protocols and the IP addresses of commercial VPN providers, leading to a continuous technological arms race. The timing and target of this crackdown are deliberate, stemming from a confluence of political, security, and ideological drivers. For Russian security services, WhatsApp represents an intolerable black box. Its end-to-end encryption, using the Signal protocol, is among the gold standards in private communication. The Eurovoya law demanded backdoors, which Meta refused to provide. Unable to break the encryption, the state is now moving to eliminate the platform that uses it. The spokesperson's accusation hits the mark. This is about depriving citizens of a channel the state cannot routinely monitor. Furthermore, the war in Ukraine has made information control existential for the Kremlin. The official narrative must remain monolithic and unchallenged. Encrypted platforms are dangerous, not just for what is said in private, but because they enable the coordination and spread of information laterally, away from the curated feeds of state television and sanctioned social media like VKontakte. They are the digital equivalent of whispered conversations in a kitchen, impossible to monitor and potent for building shared, alternative understandings of reality. Crackdowns on Western services consistently coincide with pushes for their domestic analogs. Targeting WhatsApp directly benefits platforms like Telegram, which, while founded by Russians, is now based in Dubai and has a complex relationship with the Kremlin and state-favored services like VK Messenger. The state may seek to herd users towards platforms where cooperation with authorities is more likely, or where legal and technical leverage is stronger. The throttling also serves as a large-scale, real-world stress test of the sovereign internet systems and traffic management capabilities. Can the system precisely target a single global app? Can it sustain the throttling without breaking other services? The holidays, with their predictably high communication traffic, provided the perfect lab conditions. Finally, acting on the eve of the holidays is a brutal demonstration of power. It signals that no institution, no matter how integrated into daily life, is beyond the reach of the state's priorities. It is a reminder that personal convenience and family connection are subordinate to the demands of state security and the geopolitical conflict. The 70% slowdown statistic, while stark, fails to capture the human anxiety and disruption experienced by millions. For families separated by geography, or the mobilization of hundreds of thousands of men to the military front, WhatsApp was often the primary, affordable, and reliable lifeline, a way to share voices, faces, and reassurance. Its disruption severs a critical emotional tether at a psychologically vulnerable time. Within the civic sphere, independent journalists, activists, and NGOs have long relied on encrypted messengers for sensitive communication. The crackdown forces them onto less secure platforms or complicates their work, creating a chilling effect and increasing operational risk. From small entrepreneurs coordinating deliveries to doctors consulting with patients, WhatsApp has become embedded in Russia's informal economy and daily logistics. Disruption causes tangible economic loss and practical chaos. The constant instability of digital tools wondering what will be blocked next, or if a VPN will work tomorrow, creates a background hum of digital insecurity and uncertainty, eroding trust in the infrastructure of modern life and contributing to a sense of isolation. A significant portion of the population is becoming adept at using VPNs, proxies, and mirror sites. This transforms ordinary citizens into digital dissidents by necessity, teaching them to instinctively distrust and work around their own country's digital infrastructure, fundamentally altering the relationship between the state and the individual. From a corporate and geopolitical perspective, Meta is effectively locked out of the Russian market. It cannot legally operate, advertise, or have official staff on the ground. Its stance is now purely principled, defending users' right to private communication. It has little to no leverage, as financial ties are already severed. Its primary tools are public statements to shine an international spotlight on the actions and provide technical workarounds until they are inevitably blocked. On a broader scale, Russia is becoming one of the world's most advanced and large-scale examples of a national internet, a splinternet fragment. Its model, combining aggressive legislation with advanced surveillance technology and promotion of domestic alternatives, is a blueprint being studied by other authoritarian-minded states. It represents a fundamental challenge to the Western-led vision of a single, open, global internet. Russia's path is often compared to China's Great Firewall, but there are key differences. China built its wall during the internet's infancy, controlling its digital ecosystem from the ground up with homegrown giants like WeChat. Russia is attempting to retrofit control onto an existing, mature, and deeply integrated Western-dominated ecosystem, a far more disruptive and socially painful process. Looking ahead, several scenarios emerge. The most likely path is one of gradual strangulation. WhatsApp will likely not be restored to full function. The throttling may continue intermittently, creating an unreliable, frustrating user experience that pushes people to abandon it voluntarily. This may be followed by a formal block for failure to comply with local laws, with the state blaming Meta's intransigence. In this vacuum, Telegram stands to gain the most, potentially rising as a quasi-monopoly for public and private digital discourse within Russia. This creates a new centralization of power with its founder, Pavel Durov, who must constantly navigate pressures from the Russian state. The technological arms race will also intensify. Russia will continue to refine its deep packet inspection and AI-driven traffic analysis to identify and block even obfuscated VPN traffic. Meanwhile, the global community of digital rights activists and developers will create new tools for anti-censorship, which will then be adopted by users in Iran, Belarus, and beyond. In the long term, a bifurcated society will emerge, a tech-savvy, often younger, urban elite with the knowledge and resources to access global information and tools, and a larger population confined to the state-sanctioned digital ecosystem of VK, Yandex, and state media. This will deepen cultural and informational divides within the country itself. In conclusion, the severe disruption of WhatsApp in December 2023 is not an endpoint, but an ominous milestone. It marks the moment Russia moved to definitively close the last major mass-market portal to the global, encrypted internet for its citizens. The holiday timing underscored the message: national security, as defined by the Kremlin, trumps all, even the sacred familial connections of the new year. This crackdown is the practical realization of the sovereign internet. Doctrine and internet, where borders are strictly enforced, where the flow of information is a matter of state policy, and where the right to private conversation is contingent upon the state's ability to listen. The 100 million users of WhatsApp in Russia are not just losing a convenient app. They are being forcibly migrated behind a new digital iron curtain, one built not with concrete and barbed wire, but with lines of code, deep packet inspection, and the relentless will of a state determined to master every dimension of the public and private sphere. The consequences of this digital isolation will reshape Russian society from within and pose a lasting challenge to the concept of a unified global internet, setting a precedent that will be watched and potentially emulated by nations around the world for years to come.